his method is definitely much higher than that of Huailao. It took Huailao nearly 10 years to get back a Danfang. He had a way for the spies to get the intelligence back and monitor all the family's every move. It's just this mystery, but it's the secret of the unspoken magic in the 99 secrets. Which is too cruel. This is not for the enemy, but for his own men. But in order to cope with the seventh family, he can only give up his heart. The cold light flashed in his eyes. And Zhuo Fan's double pupils instantly became indifferent. However, Chu Qingcheng didn't seem to notice it, and was still telling Qing Tian's return made the entire Huaiyu Tower very excited. After all, with the antidote of colorful Yunluo's Hang, we don't have to worry about that Medicine King Palace anymore. In the expectation of everyone, Qingshan and Aunt Tao began to refine the antidote. But that Danfang is too weird. The antidote they made was taken by the poisoned landlord. As a result, the landlord died of poison on the spot, and even both of their refiners were similar to the colorful cloud palm poison. So, your brother died of poison. Alas, it's really jealous. Zhuo Fan sighed long and sighed helplessly. This is not fake, he really sighs. This antidote is a Kapindanfang. At a young age, he can participate in the refining of Kapindanfang. It is indeed a wizard of alchemy. It's a pity to die like this. However, Chu Qingcheng shook his head slowly, and his eyes rarely flashed with grief and indignation. No, he was not poisoned and died, but was killed by the sisters of Huaiyu Tower. What? He didn't make a contribution? Why? Zhuo Fan was startled, but soon figured everything out, and even sighed in his heart. Who is the most difficult to do in this world? Unsung heroes. Why? Ha ha ha. Pig Beiji looks in the mirror, not inside or outside. Sure enough, Chu Qingcheng complained with tears. The sisters suspected that he was the elaborate work of the Medicine King's palace. They deliberately poisoned everyone with fake Danfang. So they killed him alive while I was away with the two sisters Qinghua and Peony. Everything is late when we come back. This is the Huailao scandal. We can only declare to him that he was poisoned and forgot, and only Aunt Tao is still firmly convinced that the Danfang is true and is still studying hard. Speaking of which, Chu Qingcheng's 2 tears have fallen. Zhuo Fan wanted to comfort, but she waved her hand and pulled him to his knees. Because of his identities, I couldn't enter the cemetery of the Yuhulao Tower. I buried him here. I was afraid that someone would insult him, and I didn't dare to engrave the name. After that, I moved my parents' tomb here. It's also considered a family reunion. Chu Qingcheng took Zhuo Fan's hand, knocked 3 loud heads at the 3 tombs, and looked at Zhuo Fan again. Song Yu, if one day I died, I hope you can find my bones and bury me beside them. What Chu Qingcheng said was like a deathbed last word, which made Zhuo Fan unable to stop wondering what she was going to do. Stupid girl, with me here, you will be fine. Zhuo Fan's eyes narrowed. And he rarely showed seriousness. Chu Qingcheng was stunned for the first time. For the first time, she saw Zhuo Fan King's Zhuo Fan, showing such a reliable face. She couldn't help but stay for a while. But soon, he recovered and gave him an angry look. You guys are really intimate. I let you call my name directly. How dare you call me a silly girl? Ah. Hehe. Brother Dong said that this would make the woman feel safe. Why, don't you like it? Zhuo Fan scratched his head and continued to act silly, gently flicking his forehead. Chu Qingcheng glared at him. Your brother is a prodigal son, and you will not hang out with him in the future. Helpless shrugged. Zhuo Fan refused. Okay, let's go to the last place. After seeing Grandma and worshipping his parents and brothers, Chu Qingcheng waved his sleeves, brought the black cloak to his hand, and then pulled Zhuo Fan up into the air. But within a quarter of an hour, he fell to a familiar place. Zhuo Fan looked around, and suddenly found that this was the slum they met at the time. Because of the plague girl. There is no one here to disturb. Ah, why are you here again? Zhuo Fan was stunned and thought of the doubts that had plagued him for a long time, and asked, oh. Why are you the main landlord of Huayu building, and you still have to play the plague girl here? With a bitter smile, Chu Qingcheng took a deep breath and sighed. This is also no way. Because of the sky, I went down to Yansong to settle the account. I was hurt by him and I was poisoned. But I don't dare to let others know that. Fearing that it would affect the stability of Huayu building, they lied about retreat and practiced. In fact, they used the power of the moon to suppress poisoning. Later, there were rumors of a blast woman. Zhuo Fan nodded, and then Chu Qingcheng suddenly put the black cloak on him. Unexpectedly, Zhuo Fan looked at her puzzledly. With a slight smile, Chu Qingcheng whispered, Song Yu, my time is running out. I hope you will replace Qingshan and let me feel the warmth of my home again. Hehe. I still wanted to play your brother. Zhuo Fan shook his head with a smile bump. Suddenly, when Yu entered his arms, Chu Qingcheng tightly embraced Zhuo Fan's solid tiger back, and closed his charming eyes. Zhuo Fan was stunned and could not say a word anymore. I said, you are not my brother, just let me feel the warmth of my home again. Chu Qingcheng slowly raised his head and stared closely at Zhuo Fan's eyes. After a moment of hesitation, he gently took off the gauze on the face. Suddenly, the peerless face appeared in front of him again, causing his heart to stagnate. Although it was the second time I saw it, it was as stunning as the first time. Looking at his dull eyes, Chu Qingcheng's cheeks could not help flashing a hint of shame. Murmured Song Yu, Qingshan, he once said. I was smiling. Qingcheng, he was Yishan Qingshan. Let me relive our childhood life. Zhuo Fan didn't understand what she was talking about, and now he was completely stupid, but he nodded incessantly. Seeing this scene, Chu Qingcheng smiled comfortably. Thank you so. In this slum, the two of them lived as men and women. Like a pair of ordinary people, Zhuo Fan repaired the missing room, Chu Qingcheng washes and cooks, and finally drank at the same table. For 3 days in a row, Zhuo Fan felt an unprecedented calm. If this was put before, he could not believe it. How could he live such a vulgar life with the devil? But these past few days, he has no trace of grief, as if entering the paradise. But what they did not find was that a pair of cold eyes had been watching their every move tightly, and finally turned into a black shadow flying into the sky. This person is actually a strong power of heaven. Soon, the black shadow landed around the guest room in Huayu building, and then walked straight into a room. And inside, it was already full of people. Poison Hand Medicine Wang Yansong, Mary Lin Lin Zishan, 5 elders of Ghost Valley, all here. The top position is the second son of Emperor Gate, Wang Qingyan. The black figure flashed to the second son and lowered his ears bump. With a crunch, the teacup in the second son's hand was crushed. Wang Puyan, who was still calm before, was now angry, his teeth biting loudly. Second son, what happened? The Poison Hand Medicine King quickly asked. Clenching his fists fiercely, Wang Qingyan gritted his teeth and said, that bitch took off the veil for the kid. As soon as the words fell, Wang Qingyan stepped forward and flew straight out, just in the direction of the slum.